getting up to 55 degrees. And then tonight, mostly clear and a low down to 46. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Neil Doyle on 94.5 ESPN.
Hey, it's Rich Eisen. Tune into the Rich Eisen Show weekdays from 12 to 2, right here on 94.5 ESPN, WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Showtime. The right way to start your day. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
The 16 to Kraft, the tight end with blocking. Kraft inside the 5 to the end zone. Touchdown. Tucker, Kraft. Savion Williams has got it. Williams getting the blocking to the pylon. Savion in for the touchdown. TJ screaming off the edge on third down. Love hit as he throws up for grabs. Caught. Kraft. Oh, on the run. Kraft pulling away. Still on his feet at the 30. What a run after the catch by Kraft all the way to the 26. At 3:19, you heard before that cadence. Rodgers deep drop. Nothing open. He's going down. Sack Micah Parsons. Number 1 got one. Pressure coming. He picked it up. Inside. Kraft's got it. At the 10. Kraft running away to the end zone. He has 2 touchdowns.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Now live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chamora. Here's Jen Lattis.
It's a Victory Monday here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Packers beating the Steelers on Sunday Night Football 35-25. And what a second half the Green Bay Packers put together. I got to be honest. First half, uninspired. I was bored, if I'm being honest. I thought that the Steelers were going to field goal the Packers to death. But second half, something happened, man. Flipped a switch. Matt LaFleur realized sort of, hey, maybe I do have a pretty good quarterback here. Maybe I do have a pretty good tight end here. A statement win, a revealing win, and Gabe, your reaction was, okay, we finally know what the identity of the 2025 Green Bay Packers team is.
I feel that that's something we've been searching for a little bit here, trying to figure out what this the identity is, how this is all going to work out. It took a little bit of time to kind of figure it out last year because you had the Jordan Love injury early, although that helped shape what this team was. Josh Jacobs, you're running the football, you're going to grind it out with him and try to run play action off of that. Look, this team is just different. For whatever reason, the offensive line not gelling. Elton Jenkins not as good at center as you were hoping. There have been injuries, shuffling guys in and out. You haven't been able to run the ball as effectively. But Jordan Love can still throw it. And you're going to have to now throw to set up the run, I think, going forward. We've been wondering, who's this number 1 wide receiver going to be? Who's going to be the number 1 target? Turns out it was the guy that they were telling us all throughout training camp was going to have a breakout season, and that is Tucker Kraft. 19 targets for him in the last 2 games. So they want to run that passing game through Tucker Kraft, as they should. And he now leads the team in receptions and yards. So to me, I think we found out what the identity of this team is. You want to get that lead so then Micah Parsons, Rashawn Gary can pin their ears back, get after the quarterback, get the sacks the way they did of Aaron Rodgers in the second half yesterday. And to get that lead, you have to throw to set up the run.
People were very interested, Chew, in how Jordan Love would perform compared to Aaron Rodgers, of course, the mentor and the mentee. We obviously know all of the storylines that went into that one. And at the end of the day, Chew, whether you're looking at the box score, whether you're using the eye test, Jordan came out on top. I mean, in the second half, Chew, he had 20 straight completions, which they flashed on the screen, tied your guy, Brett Favre, for most in franchise history. Not an Aaron Rodgers stat, but a Brett Favre stat that Jordan matched last night in the second half. He was absolutely fantastic and on fire in the second half of that game.
Yeah, it's kind of the opposite of last year when LaFleur was trying to figure this thing out and he pivoted to a heavy run team. I agree with Gabe. He's got a kind of – now, let's give Pittsburgh their due. Their defensive backfield is terrible.
Yeah, 31st pass defense going into that game last night.
They're awful. But which is weird because in my day, coaches, you always would hear them talk about, oh, I can't abandon the run. I think now you abandon the run, and I agree with Gabe. I think you're a pass-first team. And look, yes, Tucker Kraft is emerging, but the nice thing about this is maybe next week they give Tucker Kraft more attention, and then maybe Christian Watson's the guy that has 7 catches for 143, or Romeo. That's what you want. If they're going to give extra attention to whoever it is, the ability to pivot and go to other receivers, that's what makes an offense dangerous. But this was a weird game because if you look at the team stats, it's like, oh, this game was in hand from the start of the game. They were down going into the fourth quarter.
Yep.
Which is crazy. But a statement win, it's a good win. It's a good win.
Well,
it's
I just consider
when
all
you put
of
up
the... Go ahead.
When you put up 450, total offense, and the defense played pretty well. Yeah, I'd call it just short of a statement win.
I think it's a statement win because it happened on Sunday Night Football. You got the eyes of the nation on you, and I think a lot of people are going to change their tune, change their opinion about Jordan Love, particularly if you stayed up and watched that second half. 800-990-3776, your reaction all morning long, letting us know how you feel about the Packers' 35-25 win over the Steelers last night. To your point about spreading it around, yes, Tucker Kraft got the bulk of the targets, the bulk of the receptions, but he did, Jordan Love that is, he did hit 9 different guys. I mean, Malik Heath was sort of featured in the offense a couple of times, and I was like, oh, Malik Heath is getting targets. Malik Heath was targeted 3 times, the exact same number of targets that Matthew Golden got. Matthew Golden had 1 reception early in the game, and then I was like, oh, great. LaFleur forgot he's on the team again. But Gabe, to your point, as you sit here and consider how much Matthew Golden is going to be wrapped into this offense, how much they're going to push the ball through him, if Tucker Kraft is playing at the level he played last night, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns, the long of 59, which I was just watching on the television screen above me, where he is just shoving guys off of him down the way, on the way towards the end zone, maybe we won't see Matthew Golden emerge as the number 1 wide receiver after all.
Yeah, I mean, Tucker Kraft, 336 yards of his 469 this year have come after the catch. So it's not even just the one big play that he had last night. So much more goes into it for Tucker Kraft. That's just kind of the guy he's been, and that's the way the Packers have typically got him the football. They don't push it down the field to him. They try to get it to him close to the line of scrimmage and then let his athleticism take over after that. I mean, Golden, for whatever reason, he still had the second most snaps of any of the wide receivers. Romeo was 1, Golden was 2, and then Christian Watson was 3. I mean, he still had opportunities. Jordan just didn't throw him the ball. I mean, we've seen this where Matthew Golden gets open, and I don't know if he's just not the top progression. Late in the game, Chris Collinsworth called it out in the red zone where Jordan ended up throwing one kind of away where if he just looks to his left, it's a walk-in touchdown for Matthew Golden. So I'm confident those opportunities for Matthew are going to come just because the snap count continues to be there for him. He's somebody that has that special athleticism. It's just a matter of time of, again, being able to be in this rhythm. You bring up the 9 different receivers. That's easier to do when you throw the ball 37 times and have 29 completions instead of having 24 attempts, 25 attempts. If you're going to be running the football as much as they did early in the season, even going back to last season, tough to spread it around and get all these guys love, but the more you throw it, the easier that is, especially if you do. We'll have to wait and see if this is what LaFleur does going forward, pivots to make this a pass-first team
9
than a run-first
different receivers. Josh Jacobs in there as well with 3 receptions to the number 10. We have callers waiting on the line, but first I want to hear, to your point, Gabe, about the identity of this team. Here is Jordan Love last night talking about what he believes is the identity of the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely been flashes all season of our identity, and I think the message has always been just trying to find that consistency. I think obviously getting Christian back was awesome. Just another explosive player, and what we want to be is, the most explosive offense in the NFL. So I think just trying to find ways to be as consistent as possible because we know what type of offense we're capable of being. It just comes down to making plays, and like I said, the first half, it wasn't up to our standard. And obviously, I think the score reflected that. Some of our drives reflected that. Then you look at the flip side, and second half, we were able to do that. And so I think that's just what we need to be at all times, just trying to be as consistent as possible.
800-990-3776. Let's go out to the phone lines. Tim in Tosa, you're up first this morning on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Your reaction to a big 35-25 win over the Steelers.
Morning, guys. I'm going to fly through a couple things. Jen, I'm with you. I was dozing off in the first half, waiting for this train to get out of the station, and it was refreshing to see in the second half they made some adjustments. I did not know that Christian Watson was back, so I saw his smiling grill on the TV in pregame, and I was like, all right, that's a good sign. And I think he played well. Jordan was definitely on point. I think he hit a lot of his passes. Obviously, nobody's perfect, but he had played a really nice, touch game. The other thing I'm going to hit is when is the Keyshawn Nixon number one cornerback experiment going to be done? If you look at his body of work, and he's been on my radar, so I'm watching him off the ball, I'm watching him on replays, and I'm looking at a lot of his stuff throughout the game. Not just he's not the guy. He mails in his effort. I don't know. I know you guys have brought him up from time to time, but he's just not. He's garbage, in my opinion. Unfortunately, they have to go with him as a number one. But in my opinion, he is not a number one. And I hope in the off season or the trade deadline and I don't even know who's available. It's not desperate, but he's not a number one. I'll hang up, listen to your guys' call, and enjoy every morning with you guys. Thanks.
I think it's unfair to say that he mails in his effort. Still had pass breakups yesterday, got bodied a couple of times by DK Metcalf, but it's not like DK went off in the game yesterday. 5 catches for 55 yards for DK Metcalf. Is Keyshawn a number one? No, but I think I'm gonna slot him somewhere between garbage and a number one, if that's okay with you guys, because he's better than garbage.
Feels like a wide range there, though.
I really think they need to address that, and they're fine, okay, as long as they stay healthy. But if there's an injury to that position group, they're going to be in trouble, because you said Hobbs was credited with one play last night.
4 snaps. Played 4 snaps on defense last night.
So it sounds like he's in timeout right now. So I would hope that they would go and address this position, because that's the only thing that really scares me. Only thing that scares me.
Well, and it was very obvious, as Nate Hobbs was essentially benched in this one as well. You saw Valentine out there instead. What was the total snap count for Nate Hobbs yesterday, Gabe?
4.
4 plays. But you saw that Aaron Rodgers was obviously going after Keyshawn Nixon. I don't care what pleasantries they exchanged before the game, because that was a big thing, right? That these two are boys, these two get along, these two really like each other. And then it was like Rodgers was absolutely targeting him on a lot of those plays in the second half. Let's go back out to the phone lines. Mo in Illinois. Mo, you're on with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Your reaction to the win?
Yeah, my reaction is that I'm very, very pleased with this football team. To start the way they did in the first half, I think a lot of us were, kind of having the mentality that we're in for a long night. But to come out blazing in that second half, it was like 2 totally different ball games between the first and second half. I thought the Packers won the battle in the trenches, which was huge. The offensive and defensive lines played outstanding. I thought Jordan Love took total command of that game, and I would love to see Matt LaFleur follow the blueprint of the second half moving forward. When Jordan Love is dealing, I want the Packers offense to kind of rely on him. I know we have Josh Jacobs, but when he has so many weapons, especially now with Watson coming back, we're going to get Reed back. Tucker Kraft is on another world right now. I love when the Packers offense kind of runs through Jordan. Now, they could kind of marry it up with the play-action pass. I saw a few of those last night, which was very pleasing. But I think this Packers team has the potential to go all the way if they could just generate some more consistency. And I'm excited. I'm all the way in. And if they don't make the NFC Championship game, to me, I think that's a total disappointment in the season.
Well, that's another great point by you, Mo. Thank you so much, because what we were talking about this morning was, given the schedule that the Packers have going forward, I know that they have the tie, and that tie is ugly, right? When you look at the record of 5-1-1, that's an ugly number right there. But 1 loss headed into the month of November, Gabe, that is something they should be able to hang their hat on. Where do you see them stacking up against the other teams in the NFC right now? Because, as we have discussed, nobody is gangbusters. Nobody's been perfect this year. It's not like the Eagles are running roughshod over everybody they face, and they are a surefire thing to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, who's better? I guess my question is, who's better than the Packers right now in the NFC? I don't think there's anybody who's better. Maybe you think somebody might be as good, but okay, so the Eagles. I think they look better than the Eagles right now. Eagles have their own problem and drama, and we'll get to see that. I'm assuming the Packers are going to be favored in that game when they match up in 2 weeks on Monday Night Football at Lambeau Field. And they've got the Lions on the schedule as well, who they beat earlier this year. The Packers have one loss to the 2 losses of the Lions, and when they went head-to-head, the Packers beat them. So I don't know who is better than the Packers right now in the NFC. You can't convince me that there's a team
lot
better.
Of the same. No, not better, but the same. I mean, this is going to come down to 3 games. It's going to come down to the Eagles, Lions, and Denver. And you got to win 2 out of the 3.
Ravens game there could be sneaky. Ravens game could be sneaky because it's going to mean a lot for the Ravens, and it's going to mean a lot for the Packers too.
But they could also be mailing it in at that time. You know, if the playoff picture is kind of secure. So
I'm guessing for the number 1 seed.
I'm not going to call that a huge game yet, but those 3, those will be their toughest matchups. You know, if they want to get that number 1 seed, like I said, you got to win 2 out of those 3 games, which they're fully capable because there's no elite team, which is weird in the NFL this year. You know, so it's going to come down to who's hot, week 14, 15, 16, and can run the table. Because this team has not reached its potential, even though they had 450 yards of total offense yesterday and defense. They haven't reached their potential. Whether they will or not, I don't know. But they haven't reached their potential. It could only get better.
Well, and as always, not just who's hot, but who is healthy down the stretch. That will be something to pay attention to. Lots of folks asking if Josh Jacobs is not healthy. That from Justin in Jacksonville on the Carbless Talk and text line. I assume he is still dealing with that calf injury, and they just want to be cautious with him because, as we just mentioned, you want him for the long haul. You obviously don't want him to be dealing with that lingering all season long. Kevin says, I'm one of LaFleur's biggest critics, but he and the staff have done a great job with halftime adjustments. Good win. That from Kevin in Illinois. Let's go back out to the phone lines. Thomas in Chicago reacting to the Packers' 35-25 win over the Steelers last night. Good morning, Thomas.
Hey, John. Thanks for taking my call. Just before I get to my question, actually for Chewy, I think the Rams are as good as the Packers. Mm-hmm. I think once Puka gets healthy, Gabe, you said like who the Packers go to. I think the Rams just feed the ball to Adams and Puka. And with that I don't know if you guys have watched the Rams, but their defense is nasty with Verse and all those. So that's just what team I think is with the Packers. But my question for Chewy, did you guys see the play where there's 2 plays, but the play is all in the fourth quarter where Golden gets that pass and he tries to do the whole thing where he tries to go back and reverse it. Mm-hmm. But if Love takes half a second, he has Heath on a post going out to the sideline. Or and then there's that play, and then the play where he just does that, like, I don't know if it was a fadeaway, but to Emmanuel Wilson to the end zone, and they show Golden wide open going like across the field on a slant. Chewy, is that just a thing where he just goes to the first read and just goes through it and just doesn't look to the other reads? Is that like happy feet? My dad said that's happy feet and just him not like settling down and looking to all the reads.
See, what happens is you rarely get to the fourth read unless the play breaks down and he scrambles. Then the reads go out the window. But as a progression, you gotta really like 1, and then you don't have to like 2 as much. And then sometimes you panic and throw to 3 before you get to 4. You know, that's just how it happens, and that's what he's conditioned to do. So
I think there was pressure on both those plays, Chew.
Yeah.
So if there's pressure, you kind of want to get the ball out too.
I mean, when you get that to a guy, that's fourth progression. A lot of that is luck because the progression, I mean, you like to say there's 4, but really it's only 3 because you're going to throw it to number 3 even if it's close.
Also, that's TJ Watt bearing down on you.
Yes.
Wait, is he fast?
Yes.
Is he fast? He can get there quickly?
Uh-huh.
With a dedicated Milwaukee team, Fifth Third Bank knows what success looks like. For 15 years, we've been serving businesses and organizations and individuals in the area with a long-standing commitment to the healthcare and not-for-profit sectors. Whether it's expansion to commercial payments, Fifth Third offers a full suite of financial services and solutions to navigate your organization's complex needs. Experience the difference with Fifth Third Bank National Association. Custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
Starting to hit the brakes a bit on 94 westbound starting at Calhoun Road. That's due to a disabled vehicle right near Barker Road off on the right shoulder. So slowing you down a bit heading in that direction. And still some backups 41 northbound as you approach Watertown Plank Road all the way through Burleigh, part of our construction zone there. Seeing some clearing up as well, 94 westbound at 16th Street as you go through the Stadium Interchange, starting to move through there a little bit easier. Your Storm Team forecast, plenty of sunshine, breezy conditions today, a high of 55, and then tonight, mostly clear and a low down to 46. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Neil Doyle on 94.5 ESPN.
Hey, this is Mike from Infinity Exteriors. Buying a roof, siding, or windows can feel overwhelming. Hidden costs, confusing contracts. We don't play that game. We educate you so you can decide. And when you know the facts, Infinity Exteriors is the clear choice. Since 1997, we've installed peace of mind with no surprise upcharges, flexible budgets, and immediate financing. Infinity Exteriors, saving our communities from unscrupulous contractors. Visit infinityexteriors.com.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hard-working partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Milwaukee, it's officially time for October baseball. The energy is electric, the city is buzzing, and there's no better way to celebrate than with Carbless. Carbless is the ready-to-drink cocktail that keeps fans cheering. No sugar, full of flavor, and always refreshingly delicious. Whether you're tailgating outside the stadium, celebrating downtown, or gathering with friends at home, Carbless is your go-to for every big hit, every clutch play, and every Brewers moment. So crack open a Carbless, raise it high, and toast to October baseball in Milwaukee, because nothing goes better with the big stage in baseball than finding your bliss. Visit drinkcarbless.com and see where Carbless is located nearest to you.
Something exciting is happening at St. Kate the Arts Hotel. On the second floor, you'll find the Studio Kitchen and Cocktails, Milwaukee's destination for bold flavors, fresh sushi, seasonal entrees, and cocktails crafted with care. Start your day with a breakfast that fuels you, stop in for dinner that sparks conversation, or linger late into the evening with drinks designed to inspire. With flavors and drinks for every mood, the Studio is the perfect place to gather, celebrate, and connect. Be boldly social. The Studio Kitchen and Cocktails, now on the second floor at St. Kate the Arts Hotel.
So many of our youth carry unimaginable burdens. Anger, depression, even thoughts of suicide. At Rawhide Youth Services, we recognize their pain. We help them find hope and healing. For those that need a second chance at life, we refuse to give up on them. Please be a part of our life-saving work. When you donate your used vehicle to Rawhide, you're helping change the lives of countless youth in our communities. Donate today and get a $100 Quick Trip gift card. Learn more at rawhide.org/donate.
Life's better with Drive My Way from American Family Insurance, because we know it's more than just a car. It's your escape pod, your adventure mobile, your memory maker. And we help protect the dreams that drive you. Personalize what you pay for auto insurance and you could save between 5 and 20%. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Unsafe driving behaviors may increase your rate. Visit amfam.com to learn more. American Family Mutual Insurance Company SI and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
You're listening to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Where else can you get football analysis that includes things like dropsies and pixies and interceptsies and flowy? It's flowy. The offense needs to be more flowy.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Win big this fall at Potawatomi. You can play the Bird Bash game show for $50,000 in cash. Just play with your Potawatomi rewards card for entries, prize drawings on Thursdays. Plus, your play also earns you a shot at the $300,000 December season finale. It's Bird Bash. It's only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. For more information, just visit potawatomi.com/Bird Bash. I'm not sure how much Shartenfarter exists this morning as the Packers beat the Steelers, ergo beating Aaron Rodgers and company. There is a great article on Yahoo Sports where the author, Jory, is detailing the disappointment and the isolation that Aaron Rodgers was kind of in after the game last night. So again, if there is Schartenfarter existing out there in Packers Nation, you may want to read that and
I'm a Schartenfarter.
How Aaron Rodgers felt about his team being handed the loss yesterday by the Packers. Did you guys experience any of that? I thought I would. I thought I would be like, hell yeah. I didn't. I mean, I thought Rodgers played fine. It's very obvious to me he does not have a lot of weapons out there. You know, it's him and DK Metcalf trying to get the job done. I actually thought it was going to become the Rodgers-Metcalf show in the second half when they were trailing. But I didn't have that, like, yeah, get him. I thought I might watching Aaron Rodgers chew.
It didn't feel like a typical Pittsburgh team defensively. I mean, they're fine up front, but like you said, Gabe, earlier, their defensive backfield's terrible, and their offense is limited. Are they a playoff team?
Yeah, they'll probably be. I'm guessing that they're going to ultimately have a wild card berth.
Yes.
But, I mean, with Lamar Jackson slated to come back, and who the hell knows what they're going to get fined by the league for the games they were playing with Lamar Jackson going into this weekend, who ultimately did not play against the Bears. But a lot of people feel like once Lamar gets healthy, they can still win that division because they're not overly impressed with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And they think that even though the Ravens got off to the start that they did, they can still chase them down. But I mean, the Steelers, they're solid. They're probably a 6-7 seed, just going to be sitting there in the wild card spot.
But the nice thing was they look better on the road because they typically haven't looked great. And this is a tough place to play against a proud franchise. This is a big win. This is just all about keeping pace with probably four, because I was looking at the NFC. There's 4 teams that'll be fighting for it. Philly, Detroit, Green Bay. Well, the Rams, because you forget about the Rams because they're on the West Coast. Tampa Bay is intriguing, but I wouldn't put them as high as the Packers. I'd put them a click below. So I think it's really that number 1 seed is going to be between 4 teams, and they can't crap down their leg like they did in Cleveland or even Dallas, because that tie feels more like a loss. So, but I like where they're at. I like the fact that there's more in the tank, even though they had 450 yards. You can still be better. But you don't want to be better right now. You want to be better closer to the end of the season.
There's a lot of dancing happening here. I'm trying to follow the steps.
He's trying to talk his way through how he feels is what he's doing right now. He's not sure, so he thinks
a lot of processing going on
a lot
here.
of words, he's eventually going to just kind of land on how he feels.
Well, it's just a weird season because there are no elites in either league, AFC or NFC. It's just kind of a mismatch.
I think some will emerge by the end of the year. It felt like to me, going back to Aaron Rodgers, where this conversation originally started before we ended up, who knows, tap dancing all around the place there. It felt like Aaron Rodgers was entirely unwilling to put the ball at risk against his former team, even when the game was slipping away. Like that offense was horrific to watch. They were not testing anyone downfield. Clearly the Keyshawn Nixon thing was working. They clearly told him, hey, watch, he holds a lot. He gets in guys' grill. And there was nothing threatening downfield, even as the game was consistently going the Packers' way. They showed no effort to get back into it. I couldn't believe what they were doing on offense.
Well, it was a lot of dink and dunk in the first. That was dink, by the way. It didn't come out as dink, but it was a lot of dink and dunk in the first half by the Steelers. And kudos to the Packers. We've been critical at times of their tackling in the past, but it felt like even though the guys were making catches and maybe picking up a couple of yards, the defense was swarming to the ball, and they were able to shut it down so that they were field goaling the Packers to death in the first half of the game. I did want to also note, shout out to the Packers fans who made the trip to Pittsburgh, because Aaron Rodgers said that for the first time he thinks ever, he had to use a silent count on at home because the Packers fans were so loud, so audible that they were affecting his ability to communicate with his team. Let's go back out to the phone lines. We've got George on the north side waiting patiently to weigh in. Good morning, George. Your reaction to the 35-25 win, did it feel like a statement win to you?
Yeah, I was really happy. I'm always been happy with the Packers from the start up till now. I just thought it was a matter of time before things started clicking in. But I wanted to ask Mark, because my thing is I believe that the offense is fine, but I just want to. The glaring issue really is the
the corners. And if you think about the Packers, I just think about the history. They've always had. We finally got the front that we need. We finally got decent linebackers. Now we're missing the corners. We always had good corners. That will become a problem to me. And I know you know because you've played on teams where you had the front and you had the corners and you had the safeties. That is the 3 levels for a Super Bowl champion. So I just feel like when the Packers go up against a team like that has a Devontae Adams, that has a Pachua, whatever the guy's name is, and you can't stop them. Yeah, Puka. And you can't stop them. That's the concern that's going to stop us from getting the ring. So I'm just going to sit back and then let you answer. Have a good, blessed morning.
I mean, if I was a betting man, I would say Goody is going to go get a corner. I think Hobbs
I'll take your bet.
I think Hobbs playing as little as he did. I don't know if he's in timeout or they're off him.
I mean, we'll have to wait and see what happens this next week, Chew. I mean, if he plays more, obviously it's just a timeout, and I don't know if there happens to be an injury to Bullard, who's been playing the slot position where Hobbs has been more comfortable. Maybe he gets more time, but I just, again, maybe I'm just wrong about Goody, but after trading 2 first-round picks, unless he's offloading somebody else to get some picks back, I can't imagine he's going to trade more picks to go get a corner.
Gabe, this is the only thing that could derail the season. Every other position, they're fine. They're fine across the board, except corner. And when you're this close and you can smell it, I mean, it's tough to win a Super Bowl, but you just don't want one position group that is so important, probably – second or third most important position group on the field. You don't want that to derail you.
So if it's the second or third most important position on the field, who's going to give you a corner that's worthwhile?
There's a couple, though. I mean, teams that suck, that want to dump players. I mean, would you do it or no? Sounds like you wouldn't do it.
Well, no, look, I'm betting against Goody doing it because, A, we know Goody loves his draft picks, and B, I think he's going to take a look at the corner market and go, I mean, for what we'd have to give up, it's probably not worth giving up a 3rd-round pick to go get a guy that's just as good as Carrington Valentine or Keyshawn Nixon. And as much as as we want to talk about the defense in terms, they have the 3rd most pass attempts against them and the 15th most yards allowed in the pass. So they're being pretty efficient with that.
But it just doesn't feel
in terms
good.
of the net yards, I know it doesn't feel great, but net yards per pass attempt, Packers are 1st in the league. So yeah. I know it kind of feels, but I feel like we're nitpicking just a little bit because the first half didn't go great for Keyshawn. And then the second half, the Packers defense kind of figured it out.
Yeah, but what do you do?
Keyshawn Nixon's not a number 1 overall, but you're not going to go. I don't think that there is a cornerback out there that you're going to be able to trade for that instantly go, yep, put him in. He's going to be better than Keyshawn. I don't think that corner is going to get traded in the next 2 weeks.
You just need someone that's better than Hobbs. You need depth. Because what if Keyshawn has something and he misses a handful of games? Then you're rolling with Hobbs and Valentine?
Right
that doesn't
now,
feel, especially when you're going up against Philly with their receivers. I mean, I wouldn't feel luscious.
No, but again, like corners are hard to come by.
No,
there's not a lot of good ones out there, and I feel like anybody that you trade for is going to be kind of the same on the depth chart that you have, right? I mean, because you could easily trade for someone and they could turn out to be like Nate Hobbs because they had high expectations for Nate Hobbs coming in.
Yeah,
unless one of these corners just hits you in the face with how good they are out there in the market, I just don't think that Goody's actually going to pull the trigger on a trade.
I do have a lot of reaction rolling in on the Carbless Talk and Text line and, of course, on the YouTube stream as well. Remember, you can always watch the show on YouTube on our ESPN Milwaukee channel. And there are a lot of people concerned that the cornerback situation will be the downfall of the team, that everything else will be clicking, and that will be the one thing that keeps them from making a deep run in the postseason. So we can continue talking about that if you want to, but I do want to remind everybody, the Packers won the dang game. 35-25 over the Steelers. Jordan Love out-dueling Aaron Rodgers, however you want to break it down, and there's still a lot of stuff. There's a lot of meat left on this bone. Do they have a kicker problem? McManus, It seems like McManus is not healthy, right? I mean, he was clutch. He was automatic previously. He's been dealing with the injury, and he missed those first 2 field goals. Again, stuff that we can continue talking about as the show rolls on. Gabe, for now, I'll toss it over to you.
Cheez-It, the legendary cracker. It's now available as a frozen pizza. Okay, you're going to Cheez-It, frozen pizza? Yeah, so each Cheez-It frozen pizza, the crust is a giant original Cheez-It flavored cracker. Of course, it has to be square-shaped because that's what Cheez-It is. Ultra thin, super crispy, that perfect amount of Cheez-It flavor. And because this comes from Palermo's, you know you're going to love the flavor of the toppings that they put on this thing. Italian 4 cheese, cheddar jack supreme, and pepperoni are your options. And it has one of the shortest bake times. So you go from freezing to cheesing in as few as 8 minutes. Find Cheez-It frozen pizza in your favorite grocer's frozen pizza section.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Still seeing some backups on 41 in part of our construction zones. 41 northbound, you're on the brakes a bit from Watertown Plank Road through Burleigh, and then 41 southbound, a few backups from Bradley to Good Hope. 94 eastbound, you're slowing down a bit starting at 70th Street through the Stadium Interchange. Otherwise, a couple of disabled vehicles. You're moving along nicely across the system. This report brought to you by Safe Plow. When winter hits Wisconsin, Safe Plow keeps driveways and businesses clear with no-tolerance snow removal. They handle the blizzard so you can handle your business. Visit safeplow.com. Your storm team forecast, plenty of sunshine today, a high of 55. Tonight, mostly clear and a low down to 46. This weather report brought to you by Tsunami Express Car Wash. Today's forecast, crisp fall skies and a championship shine. Get your first wash free at tsunamiexpress.com. Game day ready, rain or shine, Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Neil Doyle on 94.5 ESPN.
It's a bird bash at Potawatomi. Thursdays, you could win up to $50,000 cash in the Bird Bash game show. Just play with your rewards card this October for a chance to win. Wouldn't you like to rake in a huge pile of cash? Bird Bash, only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. More info at potawatomi.com/birdbash. Must be 21 years old to play.
Let's get the latest from Lambeau. This is your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Tri-City National Bank. Tri-City National Bank offers a full suite of personal and business banking products at more than 25 convenient locations. Open your account today at the community bank that's Milwaukee's best bank. Learn more at tcnb.com.
The Packers came away with a 35-25 win against Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers on Sunday night. Jordan Love had a monster game, throwing for 360 yards and 3 touchdowns for the green and gold. Here's head coach Matt LaFleur on his quarterback's big game.
He's just so consistent in who he is through the good times and the bad times. And, you know, I've seen him, there's moments where you can sense the frustration from him, but he keeps going. And I kind of, to be honest with you, I kind of like it when he gets a little pissed off.
After 2 weeks in a row on the road, the Packers will return home to take on the Carolina Panthers on Sunday.
This has been your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Tri-City National Bank, your hometown bank.
Little by little, some banks are pecking away at your balance with fees on their checking. You need an account with no monthly fee. Make the switch to Tri-City. Tri-City National Bank. Member FDIC.
Hey, it's Jen Latta, and I just had my walk-in closet redesigned by Closets by Design. Doug and his team in Mequon were amazing, from the first consultation to the final install, and now I have a beautiful, organized space for all of my clothes. They really brought my vision to life. Locally owned with the backing of a trusted national brand, they deliver expert design with a personal touch. Get 40% off, plus an extra 15% off, and take advantage of 18-month free financing. Visit closetsbydesign.com or call 1-800-BY-DESIGN, and don't forget to tell them Jen from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy sent you.
This is an ad by BetterHelp.
BetterHelp therapists have helped more than 5 million people worldwide on their mental health journeys. Moments in therapy, like the right question, a safe space to cry, or a small win can really change lives. This World Mental Health Day, we're celebrating the therapists who have helped millions of people take a step forward. If you're ready to find the right therapist for you, BetterHelp can start that journey. Our listeners get 10% off their first month. Just call or text pound 250 and say the keyword timeout. That's keyword timeout after calling or texting pound 250.
Truck crash? Call Gruber offices. One call, that's all.
I feel so stuck.
The Veterans Crisis Line is here for you. Dial 988, then press 1 to call.
It's Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
I mean, pumpkin seeds.
No, little suckers. They might be. What did you say before, Jen?
Sesame, but those are white.
No,
white.
these aren't white. No, this isn't on the outside. This is on the inside.
Seeds on the inside.
Oh, yeah. So you've got some sort of
scrotum.
On 94.5 ESPN.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp. Guys, I talked about this all the time. I've been doing therapy for 15 years. It has helped me navigate the challenges of life so much more effectively than when I was doing it on my own. And BetterHelp can help if you find yourself in a similar situation. They've got 30,000 therapists, the largest online therapy platform. They've served more than 5 million people globally, and it works. An average rating of 4.9 out of 5 for a live session based on 1.7 million client reviews. 1.7 million people cannot be wrong. This month, it is time. If you need help, listen to BetterHelp. And our listeners get 10% off their first month. You just got to call pound 250 and say the keyword timeout. That's pound 250. Say the keyword timeout for 10% off your first month at BetterHelp. Chewy, are you concerned at all about McManus's ability to split the uprights? Obviously, that was an issue yesterday. That game probably feels different if he is able to do his job early on. But he is coming off of that injury, so there's a part of me that wants to say he obviously just wasn't ready to be back out there, even though they have Havrasik, who is sort of waiting in the wings.
No, because he's a veteran. I mean, if he was a youngster, then yeah, I'd have some concern. But when you come back after being off for a couple of weeks, it takes a little while to get back into the swing of things. So I'm not concerned at all. He was probably trying to get over a little mental hurdle, but he'll go back to the drawing board. Good week of practice, and he'll be fine.
I guess I was concerned, Gabe, that maybe he rushed back. You know, he saw how well Havrasik was performing, and so he was like, I got to be back out there. And then maybe it was a little too early.
I don't know. I guess he missed a 57-yarder in a place that is notoriously tough to kick field goals. It can swirl in there like it does at Lambeau at Acrisure. So the one that was concerning, though, was the 44-yarder. Like, you got to be able to nail those, and he just hooked it. I don't know if he just put pressure on himself because he missed the first one. He knew it was a big one at the end of the first half. Ultimately, I guess I'm not worried. To Chewy's point, he's the veteran. They're going to stick with him. I can't imagine that Lucas Havrasik takes over on a full-time basis for a guy that they paid a decent amount of money to this offseason, which obviously factors this into this as well. But he was so good for them last season. He was good in the first half of the first part of this season before his injury. I throw out the 57-yarder, the 44-yarder. He hooked it. It's bad, but he made all those other kicks. If it continues to be an issue and he's missing kicks in practice, I think that's when the Packers would actually become concerned about it.
For him, it's just a timing thing because get-off time for field goals is about 1.3 seconds. I mean, think about that. He's got to be dialed in perfect timing within 1.3 seconds. It's actually probably less than a second. So his timing was just off. He was probably a little quick on the hook, and he'll be fine. He'll just get back on the practice field. And
yeah, I think ultimately it is going to be fine. But it is a Victory Monday here on ESPN Milwaukee. It's brought to you by Palermo's Pizza, Wisconsin's hometown pizza with delicious brands like Palermo's, Connie's, Urban Pie, Screamin' Sicilian. Palermo's has your game day covered. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer.
You know what, guys? I was asking Joshy during the break and Gabe, so you don't have to give up a draft pick, would you be willing to trade Wicks or Dobbs for a corner?
Yeah, absolutely. I just don't know if another team would take that back, you know? Especially, maybe you could get Wicks, but Dobbs is somebody who's going to be a free agent. So I don't know if Dobbs were to be traded, which I don't think it would, because he's going to be a free agent, somebody who's competing would want him, right? Because maybe you re-sign him, maybe you don't. You don't know. Wicks, because he has this year and next, maybe you can get a corner in return for that. But typically, I mean, we haven't seen too many player-for-player trades in the NFL. I mean, every once in a while, a player gets sprinkled in there. Like, I mean, Kenny Clark was sprinkled in there. The main event of the Packers trade for Micah Parsons was the 2 first-rounders.
Yes, but, I mean, these guys are young and definitely have value.
I think they have value.
I just think when you get Reed back in there, there's going to be such a surplus of receivers, right? And that's probably a month away.
Yeah, and I look at it this way, Chew, because it seems like to me Wicks could be that odd man out with the return of Watson. But the way they use Dobbs and the way he continues to lead this team in snap count, I can't imagine that they would put him out there as somebody that you could trade for just because Matt LaFleur would have to change so much of what he does.
Mm-hmm.
But Wicks being the odd man out, if you could get you trade Wicks, you get a mid-round pick, and then, okay, now I've got 2/3 or 2/4, whatever it is that you would get for him, and then try to turn one of those two picks into a corner. I could see the Packers going that route. Two different trades of, now I've got a surplus of mid-round picks. I can turn one of these picks into another corner.
Phil weighing in on the Carbless Talk and Text line says, can Goody find a Rasul Douglas type off the scrap heap again? No way he makes a trade if draft picks are involved, to the point that you made earlier, Gabe. Is there anybody even out there? Joshy, this feels like it's your world. Is there anybody even out there that you would be interested in adding from a cornerback position?
There's certainly some veterans that I've seen mentioned as being out there, but the idea, the Rasul Douglas situation is, yes, I think they would love to turn a practice squad guy they take off someone else's roster into a starter and then an asset they could trade, but that's pretty few and far between. Goody's been good at it. I mean, Devondre Campbell's also an example of that, but I think I don't think there's any situation where Brian Gutekunst goes in without trying something. We might not be happy with what he tries, be it somebody on the practice squad or some guy that's it ends up getting cut while things happen. People become available every single year. But I don't think they're going to give up significant capital to acquire someone. I don't think they would. Now, I think you could argue they should. If you made that investment in Micah Parsons, that is a go for broke type of move. So at this point, why are you protecting any more assets? You're trying to win Super Bowls.
Yeah, look, I'm with you, Josh. Like I've reached Rams bleep them pick status. I don't know if Goody has reached the bleep them pick status.
I don't think he's going to ever.
And that's why I'm protecting myself, thinking that, hey, look, the last 2 years, Goody has done things that people thought he wouldn't. Spent significantly on Josh Jacobs, spent significantly on Xavier McKinney, and then went out and hit the free agent market again. Getting Nate Hobbs, even though it hasn't worked out. Getting Aaron Banks at left tackle, and then making the trade for Micah Parsons. I don't think he's going to part with that many picks, because if you want to start diving into like Tucker Kraft and guys you're going to have to eventually pay, like you're going to need draft picks to kind of backfill this roster, because you're at a stress point at the pass catcher position where a lot of these guys in the next couple of years are going to be cycling out. You're only going to be able to keep a couple of them, and you're going to need to backfill, and you need draft picks in order to do that.
But what's the hit rate on a 4th and 5th round pick? Can't be very high. And I'm not saying go get a QB1 or a CB1. Just go get a guy that can play in case, like a Ballantyne. You know? I mean, that's a 4th or a 5th round pick. Just a break glass in case of emergency type guy. Not a stud.
All I know is, ever since Ed Policy announced that he was not extending Brian Gutekunst, it feels like it lit a fire under his ass, right? And I know it's probably not exactly direct correlation, but, they obviously have put pressure on him to put up or shut up. And there's a part of me that feels like when you're seeing some of these changes, some of this transformation of Brian Gutekunst, where he's doing things that maybe he wouldn't have done in the past, I can't help but wonder if it's Ed Policy saying, I'm not convinced. Show me you're the guy. Show me you can put together a Super Bowl caliber roster, and that is what has motivated Goody to do such things. And I guess that's what makes me lean towards maybe a little more he could do something we don't expect him to do, Gabe, than he has in the past.
Yeah, without a first-round pick, it's tough, and then does he want to give up a third-round pick and go get one of those guys, Chew? And then you have one pick in the first 2 days of the draft? That doesn't seem Goody-like.
No, that's why I wanted to sweeten the pie by adding like a Wicks or a Dobbs, or I don't. Does Heath have any value or no?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, you tell me, what does a blocking wide receiver go for if you want to trade him away?
He'd probably be a number 3 on some really bad teams.
Yeah, which is what really bad teams are looking for.
Yes.
They're really
Josh
concerned
agreed
about
with
the
me.
number 3 position.
Josh said he's fine with Heath as the 4.
Yeah. I think like on the Packers roster, if he's the fourth or fifth option, that's fine.
Are you saying because they've traded away Dobbs or they've traded away?
Right.
Yes.
Like, if somebody is forced out via trade, that's a perfectly fine fourth option. That guy is not getting targeted a whole lot. He's just going to sort of be on the field, situational, give guys a blow. The problem is the most valuable asset they probably have that isn't the rookie Matthew Golden is Romeo Dobbs, and I don't know if they're.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Jaden Reed.
Well, that's the thing with Romeo is if we are to believe that Brian Gutekunst went to Matt LaFleur before the Micah Parsons trade and said, "Hey, I want to make sure everybody is on board with what we are giving away and what we're getting back. I want to make sure everybody's on board." And Matt LaFleur, even though it stung, to give up Kenny Clark because he loved him as a guy in that locker room, obviously signed off on it. If you're going to Matt LaFleur to sign off on a Romeo Dobbs trade, that trade ain't happening.
He's going to pound the table. No, I need a guy we can force the ball to who's not going to come up with the ball. I need to throw it downfield to our slowest guy. I have to.
I see another go ball to Romeo Dobbs.
Jiminy Christmas.
But when you think about that offense, guys, doesn't it make you giddy to think about Tucker Kraft, Christian Watson, Matthew Golden, if that's the direction they go, in what Romeo Dobbs is, and then getting Jaden Reed back from injury? Like, that feels like a very intimidating group of pass catchers.
They might be forced to keep Dobbs.
Because he's playing so well?
Kraft, well, no, because Tucker Kraft is going to have, he'll be a Zach Tom going into next year. And you're going to have to pay him. I mean, McBride got paid $19 last year, so you're looking at a 2021. You can't go out and pay receivers a ton of, there's only so much money to go around.
Yeah,
so
which is why you can't keep Dobbs because, I mean, what are you going to pay Dobbs?
Yeah, but you keep him for 13. The same number.
But that's $10 million more than he's making now.
I'd rather pay 23 for Kraft.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying they're not going to be able to go out and get these high-priced receivers. They're going to have to keep average guys.
Yeah, so you know how you backfill that shoe?
Yeah.
The draft.
I know, but
Which
you
is
don't
why
know what
Goody's
you
gonna
get in the
hold
draft.
on to picks.
Yeah. We'll see. I'm not big on
now,
draft picks.
Right now,
draft picks are so overrated.
Yeah, especially those sixth rounders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get nothing out of those guys.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm at the point with Tucker Kraft where I'm hoping, and they showed it on TV, his small town he's from, I'm hoping they get a discount just because he's so excited to be getting a contract. Like, he's so good.
All right, but that's not fair to the player.
It's not. It's not.
Yeah.
But that's my last hope and prayer.
Just because he's from a small town doesn't mean he has a small brain.
Because
what? I don't know. Did you see the size of some of those kids he was playing against high school football against? 9-man football?
Because right now,
holy cow!
How do you tell Tucker Kraft he shouldn't be the highest paid tight end in the NFL?
Right now, he is second in tight end receiving yards, first in yards per game.
Yep. And where's he on targets? Because I bet there's probably 7 to 8 guys ahead of him.
But what I would also tell you is they can manipulate that as the season goes on. All of a sudden, you start wondering why Tucker Kraft's numbers are changing. It's because the front office came down and said, hey.
The cat's gone out of the bag.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
It's a little late for that now.
Oh, we wouldn't put it past Matt LaFleur and company to change the offensive game plan in the second half of the season, gang?
Well, we'll see at the end of the year if he's got to compete for his starting tight end job
Matt
next
LaFleur
year.
also has some pressure on him, Jen, much like Gutekunst.
If you want a package deal, him and
if you want to win, you get the ball to Tucker.
800-990-3776 if you want to react to the Packers' 35-25 win over the Steelers last night. We have enjoyed having Professional Construction Inc. help us with our home projects. And look, it varies. We had a woodpecker that was putting holes in our siding. PCI came out and helped us with that. We had a balcony that was leaking into our kitchen. That's right. When there was snow on the balcony, it was coming into our kitchen. PCI came out, helped us out with that. And of course, when we remodeled our basement, our friends at PCI came out and did an exceptional job in giving us the extra space that our family needed. Mike and Michelle operate a family-owned company. They believe in building relationships and doing exceptional work on your projects. For more information, just go to their website, professionalconstructioninc.com. That's professionalconstructioninc.com, and tell them Jen from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy sent you.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
Want your brand to turn heads and win hearts?
Captivate Exhibits can bring your brand to life by transforming lobbies, creating history walls, and beautifying facilities.
For over 32 years, Captivate has been the MVP of trade show exhibits and workplace design and fabrication. Let Captivate craft immersive branded environments that tell your story boldly, beautifully, and with purpose at events and around the office.
Score big by making your next event or your own space unforgettable. Create something legendary by getting started today at CaptivateExhibits.com.
I've been to my fair share of green and gold games, and the best way to get there is with Accutrans Group. At Good Karma Brands and ESPN Milwaukee, we use Accutrans Group to get our partners to and from Green Bay, and it's always first class. From stadiums to concerts and tailgates, your game day fun starts the moment you step on board. Sit back, relax, and let their professional chauffeurs handle the traffic while you enjoy the ride. Accutrans Group is Milwaukee's premier ground transportation, available 24/7 with sedans, SUVs, limos, vans, and buses. Book today at AccuTransGroup.com.
The delicious taste of victory deserves something equally superior. Cheer on your team with Michelob Ultra. At 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, it's a superior, smooth taste worth playing for. Grab a Michelob Ultra, superior light beer as you cheer your team on. Michelob Ultra, official beer sponsor of the Milwaukee Bucks. Enjoy a Michelob Ultra at Dugout 54 in Milwaukee, Maxwell's in Cedarburg, Stenney's Lake Country, and Brat Stop in Kenosha. Please enjoy responsibly.
Ready for the snap, and a timeout taken. The team looks a little bit lost. Let's bring in Gina Della from Pella. What's the winning game plan this month?
Wayne, the winning play is simple. A whole house of new windows as low as $297 a month with 0% interest for up to 60 months.
Wow, that's a drive you can sustain for years. No penalties, no interest. A championship move from Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
No doubt, Wayne. And unlike the opponent's defense, Pella Windows actually stopped the drafts.
The draft picks we gave up for number one had to be the steal of the century.
True, but I'm talking about replacing all drafty windows.
Roger that. With energy-efficient windows that keep the cold out, you'll stay as toasty as a fan at a warm weather preseason game.
Pay as low as $297 a month for a whole house of new Pella windows.
Plus, with 0% interest for up to 60 months, don't sit on the sidelines, folks. Make your move today.
Schedule your free consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Certain restrictions apply. 10/31/2025.
If you're living your life in pain, you need to take control of your health and look beyond just traditional medicine to get that done. Hey, it's Brad Nortman, and I want to tell you about my friends at QC Kinetics. When I've gone to the Greenfield location, I have seen with my own eyes what QC Kinetics can do for you. QC Kinetics offers cellular treatments that at the micro level can cure that pain for the long term. Using QC Kinetics' natural healing tools, you can revitalize those joints and get back to living the life that you deserve to live. It's fast, all natural, and there's no downtime. You'll be amazed, just like I was, to see all the tools in their toolkit to give you a pain-free life and get you living an active life once again. Do not wait any longer. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative cellular medicine, and it's something that you need to see to believe. Your pain-free life is waiting for you on the other side of your free consultation with QC Kinetics. Give them a call today for that free consultation at 414-240-2298. That's 414-240-2298. That's 414-240-2298.
You're listening to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
I'm saying if we collectively, all the people in their cars, all the people listening on the YouTube stream, all the people listening this morning, if we all do it together, there's power in prayer, friends.
Yes, there is. Bless me, Father, for I played man.
On 94.5 ESPN.
If you're buying or building a new home, Great Midwest Bank helps guide you every step of the way. We have used Great Midwest Bank for our mortgage, and they have always come through for us. In fact, reached out the other day and said, hey, interest rates are lower. Do you guys want to refinance? We said, abso-frickin-lutely, we do. And that is the type of service you get when you work with Great Midwest Bank. Local loan officers from start to finish. You can bank with confidence at Great Midwest Bank. They're your simply local equal housing lender. See all of their customizable products at greatmidwestbank.com. That's greatmidwestbank.com. There is a mindset out there that says never get too high, never get too low. Somebody on this program says it all the time. Chewy, do you think we are getting too high about the Packers' 35-25 win over the Steelers last night?
No. Just because the fact that they were actually down going into the fourth quarter. Whereas if you just look at the team stats and the box score, you'd be like, okay, this game had to be in hand. So, like I said, there's still room for improvement, although they're moving in the right direction. I will give them that. And I would expect tomorrow when we do power rankings, they will be somewhere in the top 5.
As they should be. As they should be. Because they are playing that well. You're 5-1-1. You are what your record says you are, and 5-1-1 is the best mark in the NFC. I guess I'm just excited about this more than any win they've probably had since the first 2 of the year.
Totally fair.
Because, A, the way they looked in the fourth quarter, and B, I feel like they're starting to figure out who they are as a team. Teams are starting to figure that out at this point in the season. And I think having that identity and knowing who they can trust, who they can play through, whilst having those things to work on, like Chewy said, that's what makes me excited of, we know what this team is, and we know how they're going to win games, even when they play good teams like the Eagles and the Lions and the Broncos, who are next up in the schedule in the next 7-8 games.
Let me ask you guys this. You think the Brewers' disappointing playoff loss is keeping us grounded as Packer fans?
No, I don't think that has anything to do with it.
No?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just they were able to take advantage and look good against the Steelers yesterday, but I think everybody's getting used to what the NFL is, and that is for the first 2 months, you're just trying to collect wins. Who cares how it looks? You want to collect as many wins as you can, and then you start trying to piece it all together and be one of those teams that's playing your best in December into January.
So I guess, guys, that's what I'm trying to figure out this morning is if we have been critical about the Packers not knowing what their identity is, whose fault has that been? Has it been Matt LaFleur for not trusting Jordan Love? Jordan Love showed late last night that he is capable of being the guy who this offense runs through. You don't have to run it on the ground with Josh Jacobs. Maybe you did last year because Love was dealing with the injury and Jacobs was, the hot hand. But what you saw last night from Jordan Love is this is a passing team. And I'm watching Tucker Kraft right now rumble and stumbling his way towards the end zone in the third quarter of that game. There's a part of me that wonders if Matt LaFleur did see enough from Jordan last night to say, okay, I don't need to, protect him from himself. I don't need to run this offense through Josh Jacobs in the ground game. We can give the ball to Jordan Love and he can win games for us. Gabe, what do you think?
Yeah, we got to wait and see how what the play calls are, and not even necessarily next week again. I think against Carolina, because that's a game I would expect them to be able to run the football a little bit more because
James
of how
Cook
bad.
had 216 yards, I think.
That's all.
So you're saying we should go back to the ground game,
just because the Panthers are not very good.
Yeah,
but I'm curious to see what happens against that front in Philadelphia in 2 weeks. Are you going to be this team that's throwing the football a little bit more? And I think it's more than just last night, Jen. I think it goes back to that fourth down play that they threw to Tucker Kraft that eventually got them the win in Arizona last week. So I think it's this slow build that they have with Jordan Love. And right now, the Packers, just barely, have thrown the ball more than they've run the ball so far this season after being a 52% run team a year ago. So to me, it's about, okay, these really tough games, these games against some of the teams that you think are in your class, like the Eagles, what's your split? What's your balance going to be in those games to kind of define that identity? Because, again, the Panthers have been a mess.
He was probably a little slow to pivot. Like when the defensive backfield, though, before the game even started, was so terrible. I don't know why he just wouldn't go right at him right away. Instead of trying to establish the run, that's a little perplexing.
Well, because, again, I get it with Josh.
He eventually got there.
I mean, Josh Jacobs had a top 5 season in the history of the Green Bay Packers as running back last year.
Yeah.
Which is unbelievable to say about, a 100-year franchise that's had amazing running backs over the course of those 100 years, and he had a top 5 season in the history of the franchise at that position. I understand wanting to feed him the football, but this offensive line, they just do a better job pass blocking. This offensive line hasn't done a good enough job run blocking, and a lot of these runs just seem like a waste of time. And a lot of the runs yesterday were a waste of time. Put the ball in Jordan Love's hands.
I also am not trying to run away from the run game or abandon the run game in its entirety. I'm sure it's going to be effective come December and January. But right now, the things that are working are feeding the ball to Tucker Kraft, letting Jordan Love sit back there and sort of test teams down the field. It hadn't worked earlier in the season, and now it is hitting the way you would expect it to.
Yeah, I'm with you, Josh. It's past to set up the run.
Right.
It's not become what Tom Brady was.
As long as he doesn't,
where basically your running game is flipping the ball in the flat to Julian Edelman. That's not what I'm suggesting. Josh Jacobs still is going to have a huge role in this team. I'm just saying, hey, let's throw the ball to set up the run. And maybe then those run numbers come in the fourth quarter when you're in your 4-minute offense, Chew, trying to run out the clock and pick up 4-5 yards at a time.
As long as he's not forcing the ball, as long as it's not, Kraft only has one catch today, I got to get him the ball. Like I said, some days it's going to be Christian Watson, could be Dobbs, could be Golden. That's a tough deal to stop. As long as he's not forcing, Tucker Kraft, I got to get him the ball. And these guys have to understand that you'll get your shots because it is kind of a balancing ego type thing. And if they do that, like I said, they're going to be really, really tough to stop.
And I know that Josh Jacobs fantasy football owners, who I happen to live with 2 of them, aren't going to want to hear this. But as he continues to deal with the calf injury, Wilson is doing a good job out there. Wilson is picking up yardage. Wilson is moving the sticks. I'm not saying that you should go to him as your featured back. I'm saying that you want Josh Jacobs to be healthy late in the season. You want Josh Jacobs to be healthy in December and in January for a playoff push. So if you need to lean a little bit more on Wilson right now, I'm okay with that as you continue to figure out the balance between the pass and the run game. We got to take a break here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Still a lot of stuff for us to get to this morning. We have Rob Demovsky coming up in the second hour of the show. Don't go anywhere. We still want to tell you guys about our friends over at Accutrans, because when I'm doing my traveling during the football season, I rely on the folks over at Accutrans, and so do we here at Good Karma Brands. When we're headed up to Green Bay for green and gold action, we use Accutrans because they have professional drivers, reliable pickups, and zero parking hassles. Your game day fun starts the moment you step on board. Book your ride now at AccuTransGroup.com. That's AccuTransGroup.com, and enjoy the ride.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today. More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
Starting to see some bigger backups. 94 eastbound between the zoo and stadium interchanges. Also 94 eastbound, you're on the brakes a bit starting at Highway 16 through Barker Road. 94 westbound, you're a bit slow at 16th until you get past the stadium interchange. And then another slowdown, 94 westbound, when you get past the zoo through Sunny Slope Road. 43 southbound, you're on the brakes as you hit Hampton until you get past Locust. And still seeing some backups in our construction zone on I-41. Northbound, you're slow from Watertown Plank through Burleigh. And then southbound, slow from Good Hope all the way through Hampton. Your storm team forecast, plenty of sunshine, a high of 55 today, and then tonight, mostly clear, low down to 46. Dedicated to saving our communities from unscrupulous contractors, Mother Nature can be unpredictable. Your roof, siding, and windows shouldn't be. We install peace of mind with transparency and quality guaranteed. Visit infinityexteriors.com. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Neil Doyle on 94.5 ESPN.
Your neighbors are talking. Did you see their siding? Yikes. That drafty window? It's basically air conditioning. From nature. Don't be the scary house on the block this fall. Call Exterior Pros and Baths and get $3,000 off your roofing, siding, windows, or bath project. No tricks, just treats. That's 262-800-4274 or click your way to extpros.com. Fall in love with your home again. Trust the pros.
The 24th annual A Novel event is coming. Sharp Literacy's yearly fundraiser will happen on October 28th from 5 to 8 p.m. at the Baird Center. Green Bay Packers all-time leading receiver and Super Bowl champion Donald Driver will be the featured guest and keynote speaker. Funds raised at A Novel event will support the delivery of Sharp's STEAM-based education program to thousands of K-3 through 5th grade students and educators across Milwaukee, Waukesha, and Racine. For tickets, visit sharpliteracy.org.
Tune in to KBN every day at 2 o'clock. 94.5 ESPN is WKTI and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Showtime. The right way to start your day. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
The 16 to Kraft, the tight end with blocking. Kraft inside the 5 to the end zone. Touchdown. Tucker, Kraft. Savion Williams has got it. Williams getting the blocking to the pylon. Savion in for the touchdown. TJ screaming off the edge on third down. Love hit as he throws, up for grabs. Caught! Kraft! Oh, on the run! Kraft pulling away! Still on his feet at the 30. What a run after the catch by Kraft, all the way to the 26. The 319, you heard before that cadence. Rodgers deep drop, nothing open, he's going down. Sack, Micah Parsons. Number one got one. Pressure coming, he picked it up. Inside, Kraft's got it. At the 10, Kraft running away to the end zone. He has 2 touchdowns.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Now live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chamora. Here's Jen Latta.
Lots of things to be excited about, proud of this morning as we celebrate a Packers victory. Victory Monday here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. 35-25 the final in the Steel City. And, of course, Jordan Love on one side, Aaron Rodgers on the other. And Jordan Love got the best of that duel. In fact, the Packers outscored the Steelers 28-9 in the second half of that game. Jordan Love had a run of 20 straight completions, which was awesome to watch. I hated that one that ended the streak, by the way. Just like, I was like, no! From my couch. But we are getting your reaction this morning as we continue talking about that and what Jordan Love showed yesterday. I think we watched Jordan Love grow up right before our eyes last night in the game. It was a statement win. It was a revealing win. And here's why I think it was big, guys. Because it wasn't so much Rodgers was on the other side, but that certainly was a part of it, right? You got the mentor, you got the mentee. For me, it was about how Jordan responded to the situation. You're on the road. I'd like to call it a hostile environment, but from what Aaron Rodgers says, there were an awful lot of Green Bay Packers fans there who were making it difficult for him to do his job. But it was basically, guys, how he controlled the moment. Would it have shocked you if a Jordan Love from a past life had gone out there in the second half and done too much and put this team in a situation where they did end up walking out of there with a loss? No, it wouldn't have. But instead, he rose to the occasion. And for me, Gabe, that's what I needed to see as somebody who follows this team, to say he is the guy, he can be the guy to lead this team on a Super Bowl run.
It's a career-high passer rating for him in a regular season game. Only game that he had a higher passer rating was the Cowboys playoff game a couple of seasons ago. It's the first time since 2023 that he's thrown for 300 yards in a game and the Packers have won. So I look at that as he had to, again, last year, the only 300-yard game he had was against the Vikings. They were down by a bunch, so you had to throw the ball. The fact that they won this game, they were playing through him. It wasn't we have to throw the ball to try to get our way back into the... No, we have to throw the ball because this is the best way for our offense to function right now, is to put the ball in Jordan Love's hands and let him do what he does, which is, again, the 20 straight completions yesterday. And that was as good as Love has looked all season long. And not that I'm expecting him to go out there and have a 134, whatever, quarterback rating and be able to complete 20 in a row. But it's about, okay, now you have to find that level of consistency and prove that this is the way that this team should run. The identity of this team should be playing through the passing game through Jordan Love.
Chew, did he show you anything last night? Did you see anything from Jordan Love where it opened your eyes to go, okay, I've been skeptical in the past, but he can lead this team to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, he was poised. He didn't make, because he does play well, but then he has a few bonehead plays. Last night, he didn't have the bonehead plays. But he's got to stack these things. You can't have a game like this and then go out and they're going to be playing another bad team against Carolina. So you go out and do the same thing you did against a bad defense. You can only play who's on your schedule, But he's got to stack this. This is another game where LaFleur, work on the passing game because you're going to really need it the following week against the Eagles, okay? So I would expect him to do the same thing against Carolina. And the way you get noticed and the way you get votes for MVP and the way you make Pro Bowls is you beat Eagles. You beat Detroit. You beat Denver. No one cares that you beat Pittsburgh or Carolina. They want to see the big matchups head-to-head, and that is his next step to shine.
Can't say enough about how he's protected the football this year as well. Just the 2 interceptions. So in the first month of the season, the 1, and the second month of the season. By the time he takes the field again, it will be November, and we can start that calendar all over again. He said he did know that there would be an added level of pressure with facing Rodgers. He was well aware that he was going to be measured against his mentor and against the former Green Bay Packers quarterback, the future Hall of Famer. Here's what Matt LaFleur had to say after the game about what this performance meant.
Do for the organization?
Yeah, I think well, it's great for Jordan. Jordan's worked his ass off to get here. You know, he was patient throughout the process, throughout the journey, and he took advantage of the opportunity. He really did, and I thought, you know, it's been cool. I've said this many times, just to watch how he's matured as a young guy coming in here at 21 years old, and he's a grown-ass man now. And you see it, what he does, how he carries himself. He just is so confident. He's a great teammate. He encourages the other guys. He's a hell of a leader. And he's really grown as a football player. And I think that, I'm sure going into this game, I'm sure he put a lot on himself. And I thought he went out there, and he's just so consistent in who he is through the good times and the bad times. And, you know, I've seen him, there's moments where you can sense the frustration from him, but he keeps going. And I kind of, to be honest with you, I kind of like it when he gets a little pissed off, because you don't see it too often.
And that's the thing, guys. I think we are so accustomed to the Brett Favre personality, the Aaron Rodgers personality. Jordan Love's personality, Gabe, is so vastly different than those guys, except for in one place. And that's how competitive he is. You don't see it manifest the way you did with those predecessors, but this is a kid who wants to win. And to be able to have his best game of his career under those lights, under those circumstances, it showed me a lot about his makeup and who he is. And that's why I'm so much more confident this morning about him being the guy that can lead them to a Super Bowl.
I think from time to time, the calm demeanor, the level-headed demeanor has played against him, certainly in the past, where he doesn't have that fieriness that Brett
questions
or Aaron
about his
had.
leadership have come up at times as well, how he has chosen to lead. That story came out this week with Rodgers saying he would fine Jordan when he was too quiet in meetings, right? Like, so there have been these criticisms, or at least notifications about some of those things.
Yeah, because you do have to step up and be vocal at that position from time to time. But again, it's going to look different from Brett to Aaron to Jordan, and all these guys believe in Jordan now. Like, these guys are Jordan's guys, and you can see that. The way that they kind of all rally around him and step up behind him, which leads to a victory, because it is a Victory Monday, brought to you by Palermo's Pizza, Wisconsin's hometown pizza, with delicious brands like Palermo's, Connie's, Urban Pie, Screamin' Sicilian. Palermo's has your game day covered. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer. But the difference to me now is, we knew that this version of Jordan Love existed. We've seen this version of Jordan Love.
Agree.
To Chewy's point, using the old Mike McCarthyism, you got to stack the successes. Mm-hmm. And I'm not expecting him to go out and light up the Carolina Panthers, because I guess I'm expecting him to run the ball more, try to work on that against the run defense that's pretty bad. But it's, okay, can you stack these and continue to look this good and not have those bumps in the road? You're not going to play perfect. You're going to have a bad game between now and the end of the season. But how can you stack this and take this momentum forward for the rest of the season?
Well, and Chu, how concerned are you about a concept that we have talked about on this program of a trap game, right? You're saying that, you know, this is a team, unfortunately, that has at times played down to their competition or played to the level of their competition. You've got the Eagles looming, which is a big game, obviously, for a lot of reasons. Are you concerned about this being a trap game that they're headed into next week?
No, with trap games, I'm more. I've always been more concerned if they played the Eagles this week and then beating them at home, and then having a letdown game on the backside. This game doesn't really scare it because they're better. You know, they're better, and you should beat teams that are better. And it doesn't always work out that doesn't always work out that way, but I'm not worried about this game whatsoever. I'd be more worried about the Giants game if they do wind up beating the Eagles at home. That scares me more, not this game.
Yeah. Giants are pretty beat up now. That's losing. They don't have their top wide receiver. Their preferred running back, who's been an emotional leader for them, is out for the rest of the season. I'm not as concerned about that. And can it be a trap game? And I guess maybe we do see We do see their quarterback position get a little bit healthier, but can it be a trap game if Andy Dalton's starting at quarterback for Carolina?
It's at home.
Yeah.
It's at home.
And they've played so well. They've looked the best at home.
So soon you forget the Tommy DeVito legacy game.
That was on the road. That was on the road. It's on the road with Tommy.
I was chuckling at LaFleur because he kind of had potty mouth in that press conference. How happy is it that he stuck it to Rodgers? He was giddy. You talk about giddy.
Yeah,
listen to that again.
He's one of the guys who butt heads with Rodgers, certainly, and was not mentioned. I think if you listen to all of Aaron's comments in the run-up, there were two people he really did not mention. Obviously, Goody and Matt LaFleur.
Really? I didn't notice that. Huh.
All the different things that he did, talking to the Pittsburgh media, doing the little special Zoom that he did with the Packers media. Never mentioned LaFleur, never mentioned Goody.
Was there a hug before the game with LaFleur?
I did not see one, but that doesn't mean it didn't necessarily happen.
They did.
They did?
Yeah.
They did?
Remember?
Was it fake?
I mean, I was hard to. They were doing a cut up. They were doing a little vignette.
Josh, how do you not know if the hug between LaFleur and Rodgers was fake or real? How?
They looked like.
I could tell.
Josh defaults to everything with Rodgers is fake, so
yeah.
I'm surprised he just didn't say fake
the
right
fact
away.
that he's couching a little is interesting.
To the LaFleur Rodgers thing, don't you remember right when he ended up with Saleh? He made a lot of comments about like a head coach taking control, and he basically was insinuating Matt LaFleur didn't have control of the locker room, wasn't like the leader a football team needed. And I'm sure they're friendly, but both of them remember those comments.
Well, and if nothing else, Saleh and LaFleur's relationship means there was a direct path to Matt LaFleur. We got to take a break here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Don't forget, we have Rob Demovsky coming up at the bottom of the hour to make sure to recap the Packers win and tell us what it means to him. Gabe?
When it comes to your home, the smart play, of course, is trusting Gina Della and the team at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. This month, you can score a whole house of new, energy-efficient Pella windows for as low as $297 a month with 0% interest for up to 60 months. That's like a drive you can sustain for years, keeping your home comfortable thanks to incredible defense played by Pella Windows, stopping the drafts. They have a lot of customizable options, so make sure you stop in, take a look. They're going to be able to help out you and your home, especially if you're looking to upgrade those windows. Don't wait. Schedule that free consultation today, PellaWI.com.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
Still seeing slowdowns 94 eastbound right near the State Fair Park at 84th Street until you get through the stadium interchange. 94 northbound, we're starting to see a slowdown out of the Mitchell interchange until you get past Lincoln Avenue. 43 southbound, you're starting to hit the brakes at Hampton through Locust, and still slowdowns in our construction zone on 41 northbound between Watertown, Plank, and Burleigh, and you're slow southbound on 41 from Good Hope all the way through Hampton. Your Storm Team forecast, plenty of sunshine, breezy today, a high of 55. Tonight, mostly clear and a low of 46. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Neil Doyle on 94.5 ESPN.
It doesn't matter if it's your first betting slip ever or just the first one of the week. We've got your Potawatomi Sportsbook picks covered. Tune in Wednesdays to the Weekly Wager with Josh DiMaggio and Ben Brust.
Breezy Ben Brust, just whichever way the wind's blowing. I have bad posture. I don't have a great backbone, Joshy.
The Weekly Wager, Wednesday nights at 6, right here on 94.5 ESPN, the ESPN Wisconsin app, and ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube channel.
Thinking about buying or building a new home? Start with a mortgage pre-approval from Great Midwest Bank and experience a state of tranquility. At Great Midwest Bank, we offer fast approvals and flexible options with experienced loan officers who understand the local market, because they live here too. Whether you're breaking ground for new construction or buying that dream home just around the corner, we'll guide you every step of the way. Bank with confidence and start your journey at greatmidwestbank.com. Great Midwest Bank, your simply local equal housing lender.
Let's get the latest from Lambeau. This is your green and gold fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee. Why Z-Bart? Because you don't want rust holes in your expensive vehicle. Let Z-Bart keep the rust away with professional rust protection. Only at Z-Bart.
The Packers came away with a 35-25 win against Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers on Sunday night. Jordan Love had a monster game, throwing for 360 yards and 3 touchdowns for the green and gold. Here's head coach Matt LaFleur on his quarterback's big game.
He's just so consistent in who he is through the good times and the bad times, and I've seen him. There's moments where you can sense the frustration from him, but he keeps going. And I kind of, to be honest with you, I kind of like it when he gets a little pissed off because you don't see it too often.
After 2 weeks in a row on the road, the Packers will return home to take on the Carolina Panthers on Sunday.
This has been your Green and Gold Fix on 94.5 ESPN. Brought to you by Z-Bart of Greater Milwaukee.
Why Z-Bart? Because you have a manly truck that you do manly things with. And you don't want the truck bed getting all beat up. You want Rhino Liner by Z-Bart to keep your truck bed man-proof. So man up and ask for Rhino Liner by Z-Bart.
Hi, I'm Brittany Miller from Big Frog Custom T-Shirts and more. Custom T-shirts, sweatshirts, jackets, hats, you name it, we can do it. Big Frog Custom T-Shirts and more is family-owned and all about celebrating life's big moments. Maybe it's a milestone birthday, a celebration for your child's first goal, or that work fundraising event. We are everyone's printer. No minimum orders, affordable designs, and help straight from me and our team. We're the one-stop shop for all your custom needs. Start your project today at bigfrog.com/Mequon.
Seriously injured? Call Gruber Law Offices today.
For general contest rules, visit ESPNWisconsinContest.com.
It's Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
How are you feeling, big guy, about the MRI?
It's starting to hurt now. I think I have mental issues. I really do.
Well,
gonna have to clip that
yeah,
for me?
that's
I mean, just hold on to it?
I know, I don't think there's anything wrong. It's just, I think it's something in my brain's telling me
Something is wrong, buddy.
On 94.5 ESPN.
We've unfortunately reached that part of the year where it's starting to get cold outside. Some of these golf courses are going to be closing, but the best place to work on your game during the off-season, X Golf inside American Family Field. But what's also cool about X Golf, it's a great place to hold your holiday party. Unique space, unlike anything else in the city, because, well, it's inside American Family Field. Beautiful view overlooking the field inside the ballpark. It's got the 7 simulators, so you can do stuff with that. The pro Andy Barrett can set up games, different things for you to do to entertain during that party, or you can just hang out. The space is big enough to accommodate whatever you want to do. So find out more by going to xgolfamfanfield.com.
Asking you this morning what Jordan Love showed you in the 35-25 win over the Steelers last night. Maybe you were already completely on the Jordan Love bandwagon. Maybe you believed he was the guy who could lead the team to the Super Bowl. Maybe you were skeptical. I still have people weighing in the Carbless Talk and text line, Sean in the 262 included. Are we concerned with the 2 loft and pray passes? Either one of those could have been picked off. Concerned?
I wouldn't say concerned. I think that the one to Tucker Kraft was a calculated gamble. Of it was a one-on-one, and he trusts Tucker to go make that play. And the other one, I don't.
Watson, that was
he had to put a little bit of air under it to get it over the underneath defender, and Christian was able to get there.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't look at that as bad as the interception or the interceptable ball that he threw against Detroit, where he just wafts it out there, and the only person out there that could potentially make a play is the defender.
I think a decent defensive backfield picks off that Watson ball.
I mean, we say that about Jordan Love all the time now. Mm-hmm. That's been a thing we've been saying for 2 years. And at some point, calculated risks are just worth it. If you're going to be able to get such chunk yardage and in that spot, put it in he trusted his guys. Isn't that exactly what we want from him? We want Matt LaFleur to trust Jordan Love, so Jordan Love's going to also trust his. Like, Tucker Kraft is never losing one of those matchups to somebody. If the ball's in a spot where it's him or the other guy, it's either Tucker Kraft or incomplete. That's just how things are. And the Watson one, it was a little bit of a busted coverage, and he threw it up there and said, hey, getting us inside the 10 is going to be good enough. Doesn't have to be a perfect throw. I just need to get it there.
Ryan from Milwaukee says the floater to Kraft and the one to Watson could be boneheaded plays, but they went the Packers' way this time. Love has played consistently all year, but last night he took a big step in my mind.
No, I'll fight anybody who wants to say the Tucker Kraft lob it out to Tucker is a boneheaded play. That's a calculated risk of, hey, I'm just going to put air underneath this, and Tucker's going to go make a play for me. That's because, again, there were 2 people on your screen, Tucker Kraft and a defensive back. And Tucker Kraft is, like Josh said, he's either winning that and coming down with it, or it's going to be an incomplete pass. That's what Tucker Kraft has proven to me at this point.
That one's fine, but the other one I don't want in a playoff game.
Even if he completes it?
Well, if they're playing a defensive backfield that's worth their salt, because if you watch the guy underneath, he's not good. You know, a good player. Xavier McKinney probably makes that play.
Man, yeah, but Xavier McKinney is also like one of the top 3 safeties in the league.
Well, that's what I'm saying. When you face a team in the playoffs.
Yeah, not everybody has a Xavier McKinney. Like, you played with the guy who made the most calculated gambles ever. I would think that you would get behind this idea of, hey, sometimes it's worth putting the ball in harm's way if you can get the chunk play out of it.
If it works out. That's what Holmgren used to yell at us. You draw it up in the dirt, it better work. Because if it doesn't, you're going to get yelled at.
I guess we just know so much about how chunk plays win you games.
Yeah. And lose.
Yeah, if you give up the chunk play.
And didn't we say they're one of the best teams in the league this year with explosive plays? Like, that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
Kevin weighing in saying, I think the biggest play that shows Jordan's growth is instead of throwing the ball up for a pick six, he throws it to the ground. That from Kevin in Racine. I do think that you have seen that a lot more this season where Jordan is facing pressure and rather than just like hope there's somebody in the vicinity, he's like, no, I'll throw it away. I'll live to play another day, another down. We have talked about that, and I do think we have seen a lot more of that this season. We got to take a break here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy because we have Rob Demovsky coming up. Always love our time with Rob Demovsky. Yes, having some people talk about the officiating last night and how it was questionable. There was a lot of stuff.
League-wide problem.
There was a lot of stuff I didn't understand. There were a few things where I was like,
that offsides, heavens.
That was awful. What was that? Oh, my God.
Caught a break.
He's in motion 3 seconds before the ball is snapped. But, hey, absolutely. Well, I guess you can be in motion 3 seconds before the ball is snapped, but there's that window where he was moving. Lots of things that were questionable last night, but in the end, the Packers get the victory, and that is all that matters this morning on a Victory Monday here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Rob Demovsky coming up next.
Boost culture with captivating corporate events like appreciation parties, brand activations, and more with our friends at Events by Design. The creative team at Events by Design truly enjoys the work they do, believing every event should not just be successful, but fun, and one that people will still talk about years later. That's what we're talking about, captivating corporate events, boosting your culture, retaining top talent by investing in that culture. You can do that with Events by Design because they implement fresh ideas in every detail from planning to production, whether it's a holiday party, an anniversary celebration for your company. Events by Design is going to be able to come up with fun ideas and execute them for you. So just search online, Events by Design. They design, you party.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
94 eastbound, still a bit slow at 84th Street until you get through the stadium interchange. Starting to see some slowdowns. 94 northbound out of the Mitchell interchange until you get past Lapham. 41 southbound and northbound in our construction zone. Still some issues. Northbound, you're slow from Watertown Plank through Burleigh. Southbound, a bit slow as well from Good Hope to Hampton. And 43 southbound, you're on the brakes at Hampton all the way through Locust. Traffic is brought to you by the Neal Group. John Neal and his team know how to minimize your taxes to keep more money in your pocket. Visit nealgroup.net to learn more. That's nealgroup.net. Your Storm Team forecast, plenty of sunshine, breezy today, a high of 55. Tonight, mostly clear and a low of 46. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Neil Doyle on 94.5 ESPN.
It's Jason Wilde from Wilde & Tausch. Upgrade your industrial supply services with Lakeland Supply, your trusted ISO certified partner for custom packaging, shipping supplies, janitorial, and safety supply solutions. With over 40 years of industry excellence, Lakeland Supply is a proven one-stop source with over 95% of their products made in the U.S. And they treat their customers like family. Personalized service with a national reach. That's what Lakeland Supply does. Visit lakelandsupply.com to discover how they can make your business better.
It's ESPN Wisconsin's Game Night, so for Events by Design. Events like appreciation parties and retreats can go a long way towards boosting morale and retaining top talent. Events by Design is your go-to creative partner for employee events that truly make an impact. They help leaders retain top talent by making their people feel seen, valued, and celebrated. The creative team at Events by Design does all the planning and production, making sure things not only look great, but also work. Make a smart investment in your culture today. Search online, Events by Design. They design, you party.
Hey, it's Brad Nortman, and when it comes to my home, I want a team that I can trust, and that's Lifetime Home Services. From cleaner air and radon safety to custom closets and electrical work, they do it all under one roof. What I'm most excited about right now is their epoxy floors. They make your garage clean, durable, and organized with shelving and storage to get everything off the floor. For over 30 years, families have trusted Lifetime Home Services to make their homes safer and better looking. Trusted solution, lifetime results. Schedule today at lifetimehomeservices.com.
Ready to watch the Packers like a VIP? Cousins Subs put you in the center of it all on the 50-yard line in plush recliner seats, complete with personal TVs and your favorites delivered from Cousins Subs. 2 pairs of fans are selected before each regular season home game to enjoy this one-of-a-kind experience. Enter daily to win the best seats in the house, only from Cousins Subs. Cousins Subs. We believe in better. See rules and eligibility for details.
Hey y'all, it's the Rocket Roger Clemens here. Spent a lot of time pitching heat. Years later, the pain in my joints remind me of those days, but I'm not looking to sit still, and I definitely am not interested in going under the knife. That's why I chose QC Kinetics.
Not just for elite retired athletes, QC Kinetics gives everyday folks joint pain relief using regenerative treatments that work with your body to help repair joint damage.
No surgery, no long recovery, whether it's your knees, hips, shoulders, or back. My friends at QC Kinetics will help you get moving again so you can get back to doing the things you love.
QC Kinetics medical professionals will look at your x-rays or MRI to determine if you're a good candidate.
I trusted QC Kinetics to help me feel like myself again, and I'm proud to recommend them to you.
Call QC Kinetics today and schedule your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-667-5559. That's 414-667-5559. 414-667-5559.
Josh, I love the intros, but man, that's last year's intro.
ESPN's #1 source for green and gold information.
Oh,
yeah. Hey.
Once again, Rob.
Cracking. He's cracking the whip.
We did this last time. You have to speak on the show for me to give you an intro.
You know what? You're right.
Our most musically inclined and bald guest.
I feel like a jerk. I really do. Like, that was terrible.
It's Rob Demovsky on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Pleased and fortunate to have Rob Demovsky hanging out with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy on a day when we are calling Jordan Love's performance fantastic, a statement win, a revealing win, an identity-revealing win for the green and gold. Rob, your reaction to the 35-25 win last night in Steel City?
Oof. I mean, where do you start? It was such a difference of really the first 3 quarters and the last quarter, or maybe 2.5 quarters and a quarter and a half. That, I mean, there was a time at halftime where I was thinking to myself, man, should Matt LaFleur give up play calling? Like, you know, and the way it turned out, it was a totally different feeling afterwards. So many different stats that can describe this one, so many different plays that went a certain way that changed the game. But, like, here's this: the Packers were down 16-7 at halftime, right? And, and they won by 10. That's the largest margin of victory in a game where they trailed by at least 9 points since 1982. So that's an incredible turnaround.
No, and it could have been more, Rob, because the touchdown the Steelers scored to make it 10 was kind of garbage time.
Garbage time, yeah, exactly. Total garbage time, and and then obviously stopping the 2-point play there and ended it. But just really a remarkable turnaround for a team that looked like it had nothing going on offense. Looked like Keyshawn Nixon couldn't do anything right, and both of those things changed in the second half.
Rob, 2-part question here. What does it tell us, the fact that Nate Hobbs played 4 plays last night against a very average receiving core? And do you believe that they will trade for a corner at the deadline?
I'll take the first part, or the second part first, Chewy. I would sure think that has to be at the top of Brian Gutekunst's list. I think it took some guts on the coaching staff's part to make the change. Carrington Valentine, I'd been saying it for months that he had such a good training camp and they were not using him enough, and Nate Hobbs was struggling. And I think I can't remember, Chewy, if we talked about this on your show this last week, or if it was on might have been on with KBN, but like Nate Hobbs was a slot cornerback. That's sort of what he had been most of his career, and they tried to play him on the outside, and it hasn't worked, and it didn't work. So, the other thing I think it tells us is that you can't always believe what the coaches say publicly, because last week it was Nate Hobbs is going to bounce back. He's going to be out there, and he's going to be better. Well, he didn't play at all early in the game, and they played dime like 1 or 2 snaps, and then he filled in for 1 or 2 snaps. I mean, those were his 4 snaps last night, and that's the signing of him and Aaron Banks were interesting at the time, and may not pan out to be among Goody's best free agent signings.
Rob, do the Packers have to change their identity offensively? Last year, because of the injury to Jordan Love, they discovered, hey, we can run the ball really well, and they kept doing that, riding to 11 wins. The running game has struggled, and after the way Jordan played in the second half, should this be a pass-first offense where you pass to set up that run, and hopefully then Josh Jacobs can take over in the fourth quarter with a lead?
Yeah, I mean, Gabe, 2 points here. One, you can't just take last year's game plan and change the year and do it again. So I guess, even though I was questioning whether Matt LaFleur should be calling plays, I do give him credit for, finding different ways and not just trotting out the same plan. However, I think their identity should be get the ball to your best playmakers. And Tucker Kraft is your best playmaker. Matthew Golden, has the potential to be, and obviously Christian Watson, getting him back, and a little bit of Dobbs. Like, get those guys the ball. This whole we're going to throw to the open guy and we're going to go through our progressions. Well, how about making Tucker Kraft the number 1 progression more often? How about making number 1 in the progression more often? How about getting Matthew Golden the ball in space where he can use his speed? Like, to me, that's where this team's identity needs to be. It needs to, go back to a little bit of the Devontae Adams, Jordy Nelson type of situation. They're your best players. Get them the football as much as possible.
Rob Demovsky hanging out with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Rob, who had the best game defensively? I know there's always going to be a lot of attention on Micah Parsons, and he obviously did get to the quarterback. But you saw a number of guys. I mean, Edgerrin Cooper had a stretch there where he was making every tackle in his area. Who stood out to you defensively for the Packers last night?
Yeah, Keyshawn Nixon. No, I'm just kidding.
Could have paid me $1 million. Would not have thought you would guess that. You would say that.
Yeah, this is underrated, but Quay Walker did something, or I guess more accurately, didn't do something that he might have done in the past, and that was retaliate. When he got, I believe he got poked in the eye.
Oh, yeah. What was he thinking, DK Metcalf, with the eye poke and then the face mask grab?
And real quick on DK Metcalf, that's why the Packers were never trading for DK Metcalf. He's got a history of meltdowns, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, he had a meltdown against the Packers a couple of years ago.
That is correct.
And got himself into trouble. So, I just want to. Quay Walker maybe didn't make the biggest play in the game, but he made a big play by not doing something stupid and retaliating. Which, let's be honest, Quay Walker has done in his young past.
Not just to other players, but to members of training staffs.
Of training staffs, yeah. But that aside, I think obviously Rashawn Gary was really, really good. Micah Parsons called Rashawn Gary the defensive player of the game, and Micah Parsons knows more about defense than I do, so I'll take his word for it. But you're right about Edgerrin Cooper. That's sort of a vintage Edgerrin Cooper performance in terms of just being around the football. I mean, he had a couple of pass breakups that were really good. I don't know if he actually got credit for them, but just in coverage, the way he was down the field. Actually, looking at the box score, he did not even get credit for a single pass breakup, but I thought his coverage was outstanding. So a really good defensive performance, especially when you consider in the first half the Packers offense was doing nothing, and at least the Packers defense was holding the Steelers to field goals on those 3 of those possessions. Pittsburgh outscored them 4 times to 1 time in the first half. And if those are touchdowns, it could have been disastrous.
Rob, would you be surprised before the deadline if they moved Wicks or Dobbs? Because when Reed comes back, they have too many receivers.
Yeah, I don't think they moved Dobbs, Chewy. I really don't. I mean, he's just too big a part of the offense in terms of where Jordan seems to like to go with the football. What did he have last night? 6 targets, I believe.
6 targets.
I had him for 2 drops. Our ESPN stats people had him with 0 drops. I think they're way, way, way too nice. I thought he should have had the back shoulder one on the sideline. Maybe the ball wasn't thrown exactly perfect, and then I thought the first third down was also a drop, although we did not. I do think Wicks could be moved, but here's the thing: Wicks has to be healthy, right, to be moved, and we're getting to that time where if you're not healthy, no one's going to trade for you. And he didn't play, obviously, with the calf injury. I believe it was calf. Maybe it wasn't calf. It was calf in training camp. I can't remember what it was now. I've seen that Kingsley Enagbare could be someone the Packers would trade. I don't think they're sellers. I think, if anything, like we talked about off the top, they're looking for a corner, and I think they go try to get one with a draft pick. But that's the way I would see it, Chewy. They need to add to this team, not take away. Because, look, I know you're right. They do right now have too many receivers if those guys are healthy. But you know as well as anybody that you get 2 or 3 injuries, and sometimes they come in bunches at the same position. Then you don't want to be giving away guys like that.
I guess I just look at it like this, though, in terms of that receiver room, Rob, because we know Goody loves the draft picks. They already do not have a first-round pick because of the Micah Parsons trade. Yep. Would he want to replenish whatever mid-round pick he would be giving up to get a corner in order to kind of keep some of those picks? Because, again, Goody's got to keep that long-term plan out, and you're going to have to start backfilling that wide receiver position because a lot of those decisions on those guys have to be made this year and next year.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you on that, but you're also thinking, Romeo Dobbs is going to probably get you a nice compensatory pick. I don't know that.
I'm with you in terms of Dobbs, like especially if you factor in, Rob, the fact that Goody went to LaFleur before he pulled the trigger on the Parsons trade, going, "Hey, I want to make sure everybody's on the same page here." The way that LaFleur puts Dobbs in, like it's an over my dead body type of situation. The way that Dobbs plays with Matt LaFleur. Yeah. So I'm looking at more of a Wicks situation.
But Rob, they're going to have to pay Tucker Kraft before the start of next season, kind of like they paid Tom. And if he's going to get 20-something million, you can't have 20-something million receivers. They got to be like low teens. So don't you think there's a chance they bring Dobbs back at like a Christian Watson number?
If that's the number, maybe, but I'm sure Dobbs probably thinks he can get more, and maybe he can. Like, that's the whole thing. He's an interesting one because, like we talked about a couple of weeks ago, he's not a number 1 receiver. And what do number 2 receivers make? Well, it's getting more expensive. Like, the price is climbing for those guys. So that'll be an interesting one. My suspicion is that he's not not back, but they get a nice 4th-round compensatory pick for him. But with Wicks, what has Wicks done to prompt anybody to give up much more than like a 6 or a 7? Everybody thinks, you can get a 4. Well, teams give up a lot less, especially at the trade deadline. Those picks are not usually very high.
Rob, what's the biggest area of growth you've seen from Jordan Love?
I guess I wouldn't have said this probably a couple of weeks ago, but the way he was dealing last night, the accuracy, although I do think the one that Tucker Kraft caught on the 59-yarder was, could have easily been intercepted because he chucked it up in the air, Jen, and put the ball a little bit in harm's way, and I think Tuck did a pretty good job pushing off to get the ball before it could be picked off. And the way the officiating was last night, you probably, they weren't calling things that you thought they should call. So I guess it was pretty good play on Kraft's part. But I do think he's shown that once he gets into a rhythm, he can be really sharp. The thing is, we need to see it more often from him. His previous long consecutive completions in a game was only 11. He almost doubled it last night.
Wow.
Rob Demovsky hanging out with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, talking Jordan Love, talking green and gold. Rob, we appreciate you. We'll talk to you again soon.
All right, guys. See you next week.
Hopefully for another Victory Monday, which is brought to you by Palermo's Pizza, Wisconsin's hometown pizza, with delicious brands like Palermo's, Connie's, Urban Pie, and Screamin' Sicilian. Palermo's has your game day covered. Find Palermo's in your local grocer's freezer.
Hey, guys, Milwaukee listeners, Josh DiMaggio here from my friends at Wanna Parlay, my favorite daily fantasy sports app with the absolute largest payouts on parlays. You've heard me talk about them before, but with the football season here, it is time to play. I'm looking at Xavier Worthy to score an anytime touchdown today, Brashard Smith over 1.5 receptions, Patrick Mahomes over 4.5 rushing attempts, and the Dodgers to win the game tonight. Here's what you should do. Download the Wanna Parlay app, click around, and when you decide to upload money to play and get into the action, use promo code JGC for a 100% deposit match for up to $250. Download the Wanna Parlay app, use promo code JGC, and let's play the world's richest parlay today. You must be 18 years or older to play. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER today.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
Hey, this is Mike from Infinity Exteriors. Buying a roof, siding, or windows can feel overwhelming. Hidden costs, confusing contracts. We don't play that game. We educate you so you can decide. And when you know the facts, Infinity Exteriors is the clear choice. Since 1997, we've installed peace of mind with no surprise upcharges, flexible budgets, and immediate financing. Infinity Exteriors, saving our communities from unscrupulous contractors. Visit infinityexteriors.com.
The dance of sunlight on water.
Shimmering, sparkling, beautiful, hypnotic.
Houses that overlook a gorgeous body of water are the most highly desired houses in the world.
The Bellamare collection of fine jewelry features classic white diamonds, flanked and surrounded by rare and exotic blue diamonds.
Bellamare means beautiful water.
Bellamare, sunlight on water, glimmering and twinkling.
The dance is enticing.
The look is spectacular.
The impact is exciting.
Blue and white diamonds created in the heart of Mother Nature
will dance and sing on the body of a glittering, sparkling woman.
Bellamare. This blue and white beauty of sunlight on water
should be worn on the fingers,
the wrist,
the neck, and the ears
of the woman you love.
The Bellamare collection is available only at Kessler's.
We do diamonds better because diamonds are what we do.
For the location of the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
They say a full marathon is the ultimate test. For me, it's more than a race. It's a milestone I once thought impossible. Michelle Smallman here, and I'm running my very first marathon in New York City with the support of Gainbridge and Gainbridge Assist, powered by Parity. Together, we're empowering girls and women through sports and education, with grants to 32 organizations in 21 states. Every step I take is for the finish line and for the next generation chasing their dreams. Here's to 26.2 miles and a future with no limits.
Deadlines move fast. So should your takeoffs. With Lowe's Blueprint Takeoff, you can turn blueprints into competitive quotes. Bring us your plans, and we'll generate itemized material lists to make quoting faster and easier. And when you're ready, we'll deliver everything you need straight to the job site. Visit the Pro Desk today to get started. Lowe's, we help, you save.
Did you forget the first day of school is this week and little Nancy still needs her name embroidered on her backpack? Or the company shirts are due now, not next week? Maybe the boss just declared Steve's retirement party is today and the shirts are mandatory? Whatever the rush. Big Frog Custom T-shirts and more in Mequon has got you covered with fast turnarounds, no minimums, eco-friendly printing, and high-quality custom apparel. Big Frog brings your custom ideas to life fast. Stop by Big Frog in Mequon or visit bigfrog.com/Mequon. Big Frog Custom T-shirts and more, where your ideas leap to life.
How do you stay humble when you're America's #1 wiper blade? That's what we're currently dealing with at Rain-X. Is it even possible to humble brag when you bully Mother Nature like we do? Do we sound too conceited if we keep repeating how Rain-X is the #1 brand of wiper blades in America? No. We'll take a lesson from our wipers and just keep doing our job with humility. As America's #1 wiper blade. Rain-X. Outsmart the elements.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So my sandwich shop was opening in a week, and I needed signage.
A week is plenty of time to panic.
I went to Staples. They printed banners, posters, and flyers to promote my grand opening.
All in time for your grand closing.
Nope, I had it same day. I even got $125 off my order.
Holy onions! For all your business printing, Staples.
That was easy.
Now save up to $125 on custom print orders. In-store and online, same day if ordered by 12 p.m. Into 11/1. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Jen, has college football gotten a little sleazy? Where you can recruit a little? No, I'm saying from the standpoint, it used to be. That was good.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Back here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, let's talk about it on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy is sponsored by BetterHelp. Mental health is health. Visit betterhelp.com/timeout for 10% off your first month of therapy. That's BetterHelp, H-E-L-P. Chewy, we're watching Get Up here in the studio. It's on the televisions above our head. And it just said that the Packers have the best chance, right? It was a 20% chance, Gabe, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
To be the NFC representative in the Super Bowl ahead of all the other suspects that you might think, ahead of the Eagles, ahead of the Rams, ahead of the Lions. What do you think about that after the win last night?
I think it's fair, but I wouldn't put those other teams too far behind.
And they're not. So the Packers were 20% chew. The Eagles were 18. The Lions were 17. I think the Rams were 15, and then it drops off at 10% for Tampa Bay.
I mean, it's all going to come down the home field, and we talked about it earlier in this season where the dominance at home feels like it's starting to come back to what it used to be with the energy they do play there. Last night was good because the energy was good. So, yeah, it's fair. It's fair putting them at the top of the heap.
I think people recognized after watching the second half of that game that, again, you have to take all of the circumstances that were at play. You're on the road. You're playing against Aaron Rodgers, all of the narrative that went into that. You're down at the half. We have talked about it. 16-7 at the half. They come back to win 35-25. Like, a previous version of Jordan Love, guys, doesn't handle that situation, doesn't handle all that threw at him. And yet he just methodically and calmly found his receivers, moved the chains, put them in scoring position to the tune of a 10-point victory. And that's why I'm saying that performance, if he can duplicate it, if he can consistently be that guy, wow, Katie bar the door. This is a team that absolutely could represent the NFC in the Super Bowl game.
Yeah, it's about that consistency now. He's shown that he can play at an incredibly high level. He's done that a number of times. He just hasn't proven that he can do it on the consistent basis, and that's what the best quarterbacks in the league do. But again, it's easier to do that. Going back to what Rob said, it's easier to do that when you decide as a play caller, hey, let's get the ball in the hands of our best playmakers. That makes everybody look better.
Yeah, the difference so far between this year and last year is there were really no big wins for Jordan Love, and this year he probably has two, Lions and Commanders. That's the difference between this year and last year. Like I said, no one cares if you beat Carolina. You're supposed to beat them. People want to see what you do against the Eagles, what you do against the good teams in the league, and that'll be the difference. And, Rob echoed what we said. You got to stack these things. You got to stack them. You got to, you can have a crapper every now and then, but for the most part, you got to be consistent and play like that week in and week out.
And we'll talk about
They're going to have another crapper between now and the end of the season.
Oh, I know
I can promise you that. Like,
but
that's just going to happen.
I would prefer if it not come next week because I want you to be able to build on the momentum of this victory headed into that game against the Eagles. And I will also say this, guys. Don't take your foot off the gas. What I'd like to see from this Packers team going forward, and especially this upcoming week as you're facing a subpar opponent, just kill them. Crush them. Don't even make it a question. Don't even get in these situations where you're like, oh, I don't know. We got to put together a heroic performance in the second half. Go out there, win by 30, turn your attention to the Eagles. That's what I'd like to see. Wilde and Tausch is next on ESPN Milwaukee. It is a Victory Monday. They'll be talking